Okay, 7 o'clock. That's just making sure. No. You're here twice. Oh, yeah. Okay. Split you. All right.
I can't see it, so I put it away. That's good.
All right, we're gonna get started here. I'm looking to approve the minutes from last meeting. I'm making a motion. Go, all in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, we're gonna start off with the Whitewater Cooling Tower. That in here. Slide back to the end. Luck Grove. Welcome. Do you have material with you?
I don't, we just got back in from, Mexico.
Okay. We slide back just a little bit.
I didn't think that would have been done.
So what we'll ask is that you just give us like a quick overview. Okay.
You know what you're doing? A breakfast sausage taco, breakfast sausage gravy, charred tomatillo sauce.
Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
Take the word. Specifically.
Nathan, you don't need me to vote, do you?
No, we got a quorum.
Okay.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. You are a board member. But...
Yeah, but I got family in town, so.
Okay.
Are you gonna sign off, Kevin?
Now I'm gonna stay on.
Okay, good, thank you.
Is there a drawing line?
There should be a drawing down below.
Okay, so just give us the rundown, location, all that fun stuff.
Yep, this is at Marzullo Electric at his building. We're installing 2 wall-mounted chargers, 4 ports, 32 amp chargers. We are running to existing service inside his house panel.
There's no screens or bright flashing lights and
No. This is actually a pretty easy project, so we're gonna be installing hanging them right off the wall and running inside his ceiling to the back panel. There won't be any road cuts or anything.
is all that wiring being run inside.
Correct.
Any questions?
Are there any windows? I'm just looking at the old screen drive-by shot. It says there's windows on that wall in that location. You know? Okay, that first one's right there.
So you said before they were wall mounted, those are pedestal mounted?
Yeah, they will be wall mounted.
So they're not gonna look like that.
They're not, we're not cutting anything.
Do you have a cut sheet of the wall mount? Okay. That's still a pedestal.
Well, they're clearly not going where they're shown then, if there's a window there. Is there?
We're gonna go below it, do an L and then up and see the ceiling.
But you're putting the charger in front of the window?
No, we're gonna go on the opposite side of the window.
Alright, so in this one, which side of the window are you going to?
Right side,
So between the two windows on that one and then to the far side of the other window?
correct. We're gonna be going from there, so where the other one is down there, we're gonna slide down, we're just gonna move one down.
Oh, you got one car bay over.
Correct. Yep.
Can you amend these drawings?
Yeah.
Provide them to the town?
Sure.
And the cut sheet for the unit is in the submission package?
There's multiple units out there, it shows pedestals, it shows wall mounts, everything of all the chargers that we offer.
But it is clearly identified which one you're providing,
Yes.
and that's in the package. I guess that's my question, it's in the package.
Yeah, it's just not.
Called out.
But there's no parking configuration on what's existing on asphalt.
You mean some straight?
No,
There's no straight.
Right.
No, it's last time Google was.
Is it going to be striped? Or is there enough room?
exactly that's what it's all about.
Well, yeah, there was the other drawing in there, which was a survey.
Yeah.
100, you got 40 feet from the base of the building to the property line. 5 foot off. 5 foot off the back, 95 foot wide, on 140 foot property line. You got 40 feet, and our base need to be 20.
So you got 90 feet.
See the building is 95. On the right hand side,
Yeah,
95,
yeah.
and then 5 foot up from the back of the building, there's a property line there.
There's 100 feet.
There's 100, and then the property is 140, so you got 40 feet. If you got a 20-foot parking aisle. A parking bay, and that's 20 feet.
Minus whatever the pavement setback for the property line.
Right.
What's this, what are we zoned out here?
Gotta be industrial.
What's that?
It is industrial, yeah.
The whole-
Right, so you can go right to the property line. Do you know if that pavement goes right to the property line?
I believe it does, yeah.
It looks like it is here.
Because
So
besides,
it's 40 feet minus 20 foot. 20 foot driveway behind you.
It just seems like from the photos, it's parallel parking against the building. This is suggesting that it's perpendicular parking against the building.
right,
Which one is it? I'm sorry, what's the parking configuration?
He parks most of, so this is actually my electrician that uses all my EV stations, he's gonna install them at his own building. So he does park his equipment, down in that alley parking area, and then he want to utilize more parking spots up front for these public.
right, but I guess if we go back to the rendering that you have, where you're showing the chargers.
Yeah.
Those stalls are perpendicular. Which there's no striping out there right now.
Okay.
So.
We could stripe them, we could do it, stripe this.
You're back in.
Yeah, you're backing all the way out of that thing. Yeah, if you do it perpendicular, you're left. What we were trying to figure out about a 20-foot drive line. Or less.
I mean, think about it. back review.
And if it's a truck, you're saying your electricians park their trucks in there?
Not like their pickup trucks where they have a trailer back. They store their stuff.
Could it just simply be parallel?
I think it would be better if it was parallel.
Still the chargers there, just
Perpendicular, because you,
spaces.
looks like you've got an overhead door in the back, there's a bunch of gear in the back. Looks like there's a birdie box back there. Don't you want to have at least clearance for mobility? Sure.
So I guess. The issue with the chargers, I don't believe there's an issue with the charger. I think. You're gonna need to update these drawings. As a condition. We talk about in here. And approve this evening.
Okay.
How do we feel about parallel parking inside of the building? I mean, I don't even know that they need the parking. But if you're gonna put the chargers there, you want to define space.
I think that parallel. That's the awesome. So,
Like you got stripes one,
yeah,
you gotta
add up
start there.
right there.
Yeah.
Parallel. Chargers located at the head.
Yep.
Which is spaces. Just really do it there. Like a wall.
I think, yeah,
They're on both
Yeah.
sides.
So that's it, you burn much better back in.
are those conditions that are acceptable to you?
Do they need to be striped or are they already sufficiently
There's not,
striped?
there's
No
no
stripes,
stripes,
they need to be
we'll need to stripe and define them.
And how many are there?
There are none right now, and I think there's probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 2. We got one here.
1 year, 1.
2, 3. I would say 3. Cause that gives you your 2 chargers, so if you have the aerial up. I mean, I don't know.
There's a door, I mean, there's a main door along that wall line, so that's gonna be your limiting.
Right, so the parking stalls that are in the front of the building, which nose into the front of the building.
Yeah.
There's the one stall to the side here, you're gonna start there with 1, 2, 3. That's the most that you're gonna be able to get on there, so your chargers will be at the heads of those 2 and 3.
2, 3. Right from the windows.
Right, and then there's just the trying just lay stuff down at the end. I mean, if they only need 2 charging, it's not about the parking, it's about the charging. Right, and there's 2 chargers, so why not give,
Are they double head chargers?
Yeah, I need 4 parking spots.
I still think that would put a charger down here at the toe of the parking lot, right at the bottom
Yeah.
left corner. I mean, number 1, picking up space 1, space 2. And crossing the door with
Yeah,
a
but
charger.
if there was enough, you could put 1 here and 1 here.
Yeah.
And you're off the corner,
And doing that.
and then just do 2 down the side.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
There, charger there.
So you want me to do single port down the wall?
no, what we're actually, here. Why don't you come over here, just because we can't get it up on screen right there. Just so that you know, because you will have to put your arms in here.
We go space, you get a charger right here that picks up these 2.
Gotcha.
And then a charger here that picks up that guy and that guy, totally out in front. And then we're not getting, then you don't have the space down here, which is getting tight back in your gear there. Storage that over the door.
So the first double
You're right
there
there.
picks up those first 2 spots.
And then those become your EV spaces.
Okay.
It's EV, center located.
Gotcha, does that work?
Yeah.
So,
So let's move to the sides.
one charger is gonna be mounted on the corner of the building, on the side.
On the other side, yep. That's,
On the side, and the spaces will be,
southwest.
the ones that are perpendicular in the front.
So the first 2 spaces in the front, so you'll need to stripe to capture an extra spot here,
Right there.
and then 2 parallel spots. Down there, all of our parking divisions and everything in the code. So you need to adhere to those. And then you'll need to update this drawing package to clearly show. I'd show wall mounted chargers.
Yep.
I would show where they're located, and I would show the correct striping on here.
Gotcha.
And I would show a striping on the side of the building, like. This is the building. You've got this band against the wall, that's there and out, I would duplicate the same thing and have a band. And then you have two spaces like that, so that the charger's sitting there. And speaking, I have another charger sitting here, this is sort of like the pedestrian zone against the building. Since you gotta get to the chargers.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them, so.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's good with the approach on that one. Does anyone have any objection with moving to approve that with those conditions?
Conditional. that-
There will be a drawing
Yep,
submitted.
that they will update the drawings based on this direction, and we'll leave it to staff to approve it based on that. Good. Right.
They just said it.
As we go through.
You can correct me, Deborah.
All right, I'm gonna read a motion to approve the plan for EV charging stations last dated 10/5/2023 for two dual port charging stations with the following findings and conditions. The planning board has reviewed the Onondaga County Planning Board administrative referral of 3/6/2024, which took no position on the project. The board has reviewed the EAF of the applicant and finds no significant adverse environmental impacts for this project. The following condition
Mhm.
would be the chargers shall be wall mounted. The applicant, will revise the drawings to show the exact location the chargers will be mounted. One charger shall be mounted on the corner of the building or the side yard. And the space,
On the south face.
south base. On the south face of the building. Sorry, we're doing this on the fly, so bear with us a little bit. On the south face of the building. And the spaces will exist perpendicular on the front
Like there's existing spaces,
Yeah.
right?
and will serve,
Yeah.
the spaces on the front of the building.
Mhm.
The second charger will be to the right of the window shown in the rendering. Also, the parking alongside the building where the chargers will be installed must be parallel parking against the building, It shall be striped to include no more than two spaces.
Okay.
Applicant shall submit updated drawing package to the town planning office. Be approved administratively within 2 weeks of this date. This is a modification to a prior site plan approval of the premises, and any findings and conditions therein remain in full force and effect except as specifically modified herein, no further modification permitted without site plan approval. Those conditions meet everyone's.
Can we just add that the raceways, the conduit will be run interior, not exterior?
Good with that?
Means electrical contractor, it should be.
All right, I'll move second.
I'll second.
Lance, all in favor? Okay. Thank you. Please update those drawings and get through the.
And can I have your name, please?
Chad,
Chad,
Mutter, MUTT here.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And we'll look at RHF High Tech, we know it's Feldmeyer. This is just a conceptual presentation. So just a couple of minutes. The high points.
access to the left. Marks. Down to the left.
Yeah, it's still at.
So is it
left.
both marks? Left. Left.
Keep going, keep going. There you go.
Not the most intuitive spot.
So, I brought this just so I can use a laser pointer, but it's easier to kind of describe what we're doing. And my name's Greg Strom, I'm down at Strom Engineers representing Feldmeyer. We previously were in here about now 5 years ago, to get approval for the original plant, and during that process, we got, I'm gonna call it kind of a semi-approval census on the addition repair, because we put in all the infrastructure in anticipation of it. Obviously, that is kind of expired at this point. But we're back in front of you with a slightly modified addition. So what you, it's hard to tell here, but what's currently existing is this in gray, and it's about 125,000 square feet of plant and about 100,000 square feet of plant, 25,000 square feet of office space, with the office space being in its location here. As part of this, we put in a parking lot, which is located here, access roads, and another parking lot here, truck turnaround. And we banked a bunch of parking here for phase 2. Part of this bank for phase 2, and part of it was is scheduled to go in for phase 2, which phase 2 was a 39,000 square foot addition side the south end of the building. What is being proposed today is approximately 81,600 square feet of new warehousing and manufacturing. And what they manufacture here is more of their larger tanks. So if you see some of the tanks like at Burned Air, that's the sort of stuff that comes out of here. They've got another plant in Little Falls that does more smaller compact things. They do some small things, but not quite that small. And what this is intended to be utilized for is their town line plant. When they moved out of, when they built this, they fully anticipated moving out of town line. By the time we got this thing built, they already had maxed this building out, kept town line operational. And now they are looking at town line facility operations to this location. So with that being said, they need some additional storage and additional manufacturing areas. I'm not quite sure how big a town line facility is, but it's located in 3 buildings. I think the bigger the building's about 40,000 some odd square feet. Then they got like a pole barn type building, and they got the original plant, which has a lot of components in it. So it's probably a little bit smaller than this, but that's the operation they're planning on moving here. So with this being done, the original plan was that this road that is existing here would stay, and this facility would literally fit right in there, minimal disturbance. Now it's gotten a little bit bigger, so it's going to stretch out a little bit more. That road's going to have to be relocated. We don't see an awful lot else changing in this vicinity here, other than the swale be a pipe system, maybe a combination pipe and swale above it for stormwater, and then it's a matter of trying to figure out what we're going to do with like this parking. And one of the things that we are applying for is a variance, because they currently only utilize, they have 127 employees at this plant here, and 24 at the town line plant. So those are going to be moving over. So total is 151 employees. And if you look at this aerial, you'll see it. This is during a regular shift, and this is maybe a quarter full, a third full, and then this one here is maybe a quarter full. It's mainly their office staff here. So they don't have any need for it.
What's the zoning call for required parking?
For the full build out right here, 328. total spaces.
What are you showing on this? We're gonna try and help you bank as much as you can.
Yeah,
Not build. So we
I mean,
the numbers right off the bat.
Well, no, I mean, not that it can't be done, if something ever changed a later
Yep.
date, but I mean, to plan for all those environmental impacts.
Yep.
And then we're trying to work out the math and we're like, oh gosh, now we gotta start building more asphalt that nobody's ever gonna park in, it's gonna be like shopping town. You have to.
After, what is the magic line of what can we do for you without needing requiring a variance?
Well, right now it's 25%.
Right.
Now, you would need to show 246 spots.
And we have a variance for 25% on the site. From the original approvals.
Right,
So that
Uh,
carry on.
or, you know,
Right,
so
so
it-
require that, was even able to extend that.
So I mean, well, we're,
We have the right to do
Yeah,
25%.
we can extend that, so whatever your. I mean, bottom line, if you, by the size that's there, if it's, sorry, what was it, 328?
yeah,
328 are required,
yes.
by right, how.
I'm sorry, 328. 396 is what would be required.
396.
Yes. We have 205 on site today,
For
We
which
do
a
have-
variance was given,
for which a variance was given.
for reserve or for just straight up variance?
That's, the 205 is with part of the variance, so there's a plan that we submitted.
How,
Right, what do you have on site now?
205,
205.
Yeah.
So right now, without going to get a variance, let's forget what you might have in place. Require 297, we can give up to 20, I mean,
we can reduce it to
297
with
minus 205.
showing that we can get the full
Reserve,
398.
Right,
So we still have to show the 398, but we can bank 25%, getting it to 297.
Mhm.
So that without ZBA,
we can bank it, you're just gonna show an additional 92 on site. Without putting a ZBA.
then what are you showing in this plan?
so in this plan. We are showing. A total of. 328. With, and that is the entire, that's the entire area, so. That is, that's all the parking shown on that particular plan and even in this plan here.
That max out your available space?
So we don't have this here installed or strip here.
Does that include the visitor lot in front of the main entrance?
Yes,
It does, 'cause
yes,
I did the math, it's 328 just on the top left. 205 plus 1.3.
well, I think that this existing includes this here, there's nothing on here.
It's probably existing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, when you get a chance, let's see if we can pull the variances and the other approval, just to verify all of this. It's a little confusing.
yeah, and I think the office asked when they got them, so.
So I think the bottom line, you need 397, you gotta be able to physically show 397 on here. Right,
Well, and we don't,
assuming no need to go to ZBA. If you can only max out at 328. The difference between 328 and 397. Is what we're gonna need to get a variance on.
and the problem with,
I mean, that's the,
my concern with showing that is that I've actually have to show it. And now I have to, it's gonna be in my bioretention basins, or it's gonna be,
well,
you know,
no,
you
what
know what I'm saying?
maybe we're saying two different things, so if that plan that you're showing us right now. 328. Yes, that's what you can do.
No,
You don't want to.
We don't want to build any more spaces than we have today. We're not using, them. You know, it's just,
Yes, you are gonna need variance.
that's what that's not that I want to go for a variance, that's kind of what I figured, and I figured to try.
Yeah.
Well, and then the funny thing is, the way the math works out, unless somebody else can figure out a better way of doing it, is we actually need a variance on the parking, and a variance on what you guys can bank.
Yes, that.
So it's a variance on how many parking spaces, I mean, a variance to go like 38%, allowing you to bank, but allow us to bank 38%.
We'll figure out all the math.
Yeah, yeah, if there's an easier way of doing it, I'm good with that.
It's gonna be on you to outline that.
Yeah,
That path of what you're.
yeah, we've already put the variance application in.
Right.
Or at least, yeah, provide, I don't know, yeah, it's gotta come through you guys first.
Yeah, it'll need to, or can you, I guess, get it, you pass that variance application.
Yeah, I said, what, you 170.
We have 174.
So isn't there a different count for the office?
That's what clergy has.
I think, it's already been, it's been established, so.
Yeah, stays. Okay. So parking, that's 111.
Yeah.
You with CBA figure out what the is.
Lake Creek issues, the extending off.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I guess it's, we got. Then Brio Parkway is gonna drop closer to the swale.
The other thing that we've done out there is, town has partnered with Bellware, specifically Kobe, to put a lot of floodplain work here. So right near the stream, kind of where there's like there might be some parking and whatnot. There have been some strategic efforts in that area with plantings, movement of earth. But I think we want to be sensitive, like we talked before, to that. And it's a fact that Bellfire has been nice enough to help us in that area. So try to exactly what the plans are, maybe Greg's already taking this parking away. But there were a lot of native plantings right there. Et cetera.
Yeah, I mean-
we coordinate with Greg's office where a lot of that is, got a lot of that experience.
So what the dash lines are representing there?
Yeah, so the dash lines, this one here is the flood plain line, and then this one here is closer, that's the floodway line. So we definitely don't want to get into that. You know, first of all, it's a very sensitive area, and study it. We could go into the floodplain area, but I don't really think anybody wants to. And Feldmeyer really again doesn't. I mean, not that it's an enormous expense or anything. It's, you know,
What about that slot there to the right? Building.
this here, that's a significant elevation. But it's you know, I don't know if you remember, it used to be a T, it used to be over here. We took all this dirt over here. and flattened it out.
It's a lot higher, it's a
Yeah.
lot higher up there, yeah.
Greg, did you submit this in time for the April? CBA meeting?
I believe so. I believe it was submitted, same time it was submitted this year. So it was submitted at least a couple weeks ago. I believe we.
So we would make a recommendation at the next meeting. So, and to that point, we do need to make a recommendation at the next meeting, which means you need to. We'd be back in front of us at the next one.
Okay.
With the map and to speak just to those items that you need the recommendation on.
Okay. Definitely do that. We can, you know, can break it out.
Yeah.
Something that's easier to follow.
Yep. Okay, since this is just concept, anything else on the building itself? I mean, I know it's probably early for that,
Well, there's actually, there's plans in here that, you know, VIP does a really good job of, you know, even getting ahead of us. So we do have a couple of plans. So which one that is, that's the elevation.
You are on track B, which means the next time that you're back technically in front of us is the end of April, the second meeting in April, track
Okay.
B. So VIP should be here
Yep.
with you to present this.
Okay.
I know that this board in the previous iteration spent a lot of time working with VIP.
Mhm.
And Feldmeyer on that elevation since it's so prominent towards 90.
Yep.
So we'll want to kind of just look at that in detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Want to make sure that you are certainly talking to DOT through a, you know, for anything that, you know, I think you guys had to talk to them last time.
I think the only thing that was, it was a sign. We
Right,
had to deal with the sign.
but just make sure that they're, you know, that you're changing the facade, you're moving in closer to the throughway.
If I want more money.
But just make sure that that conversation's happening.
Yeah.
Sooner.
Yeah, and just to give you a quick perspective of the building, the roof line's gonna continue down.
Right, I remember that we talked about that.
Yeah, same, color schemes or, you know, we blended in. What's that?
Just moving the elevation.
Moving the elevation forward, yeah, so the roof line will drop down, so it's the exact same slope, it's gonna get tied in. You know, should look very seamless. And same thing with the north side, but the south side, I think is the one that everybody had a real, you know, concern about. The current. So we'll have VIP here next time, we'll have a much better breakout for you for the parking and how that's all gonna work, see if, you know.
Yep.
Better understanding of it. Anything else?
And with all this here, you know, certainly Mark is gonna do a full engineering review on this, so. We'll do that review, we'll get comments back to you. So the next time that you're in front of us will be kind of a preliminary presentation.
Yep.
You know, we'll have VIP here to do the whole.
Recording.
And we'll work towards where we haven't, with the drainage is designed in concept. We'll have to open up another SWIP for, doesn't been closed or bended somehow, we have to figure that out, so. But, you know, we'll have better stuff for the engineers to review.
Alright.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
And Greg, if I could, just for 2 seconds, I'll get your thoughts with the file too. And department wise, our submission deadline is April 11th.
Okay.
To allow enough time for review for those items as well. Okay? If you have any questions, you can contact the department. Mhm.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
They said they have it, so they're already submitted and there's. A different recommendation. So it's a minor. Yeah, it's consent.
Okay,
Have a great night.
you have Waylock here.
Yes, Brett Steenberg, I'm attending remotely. I apologize for my inability to be there in person this evening. I actually just stepped out of another planning board meeting here in Albany. So just trying to wrap everything up, but do you want me to pull up the plans on my screen or how do you want me to do this?
You can pull them up on yours. You should be able to share.
Okay. I will do that now. So while I'm pulling these up, I'm working with Tasty Development Corporation, Tasty Hut Development Corporation, and they're proposing to purchase the existing Jimmy John's on Waylock Drive. Let me see if I can share my screen. one second. This should be a relatively straightforward application. I hope we went through the process with. There we go. Okay. We went through with the workshop a few weeks back and having trouble seeing how to share my screen here. There we go. So we went through with the workshop meeting. Tasty Hut, Pizza Hut, Tasty Hut is the franchisee. Pizza Hut is proposing to purchase the existing Jimmy John's on Waylock Drive. They are proposing a small addition off the back for functionality for the kitchen. As you can see in the shaded area here, which will require the relocation of the existing transfer, which is located here to this location. We are aware that it will require a variance. The front yard setback in that area is 50 feet. You can see the front yard setback line bisecting the addition here. So we know we need to go through that process, and we wanted to get started with the process. We did also submit building elevations as part of the process, and I'll pull the building elevations up, which has the proposed signage on it. And I know, sitting through the meeting a few weeks back, the signage was an issue with many of the projects. They're trying to match pretty much existing what is there with the signage. This particular elevation of the existing building, obviously it's going to get some basically a refresh with new finishes. And this existing elevation, you see here, they're creating a tower, and the Pizza Hut would replace the Jimmy John's. They're trying to match the sizes exactly with what's there. I would believe, based upon my review of the zoning code, this elevation, which faces the parking lot and interior to the site, currently has a Jimmy John sign here. That I believe is not a permitted sign and probably was there through a variance process. Again, we would like to replace the existing Jimmy John sign with a Pizza Hut sign. I suggested the architect originally had a Pizza Hut on this side, which would be facing that side, the interior to the site as well, and not facing a roadway. I suggested they move that Pizza Hut sign to face Waylock Drive. This is the side of the building with the addition. And then the signage on the other side as Waylock Drive wraps around, it would again match the Jimmy John signage. Again, the total number of seats in the restaurant, they're proposing 20 seats total, which is not a significant number of seats for a restaurant, and there's adequate parking. And we're here to just kind of get an idea from the board, what you see, and if there's issues and anything we can address as we move through, as we're currently in the sketch plan process.
Thank you. One of the questions that was brought up was the color scheme. Is that what you're proposing for the building?
Yes, that is correct.
So it is black.
I don't know why it's coming out black on. It should be red brick.
Line work that
Yeah, it's probably the line.
I think that's just the line work.
you're not changing the color of the building.
No, if you look at there, if I zoom in,
Thank you.
that's actually the coloration of the building. Sorry, that must be a Adobe PDF thing going on here, that, but you can kind of.
You are changing the color of the roof
Yeah.
and any of the other metal
Yes.
trim elements.
Correct.
The window systems are not changing. Right?
Correct. That's correct.
Can you scroll just to the right a little bit so we can see the entire addition?
Yes.
That's,
I apologize. I'm
It's to the right of the Pizza Hut.
Ah.
Yep, right, that's right.
having a little bit of technical difficulties here.
What is in the addition? It's a cooler?
It's cool. It's cooler and kitchen equipment.
So is there equipment, are there, you know, hoods or equipment on the roof of this thing?
There is not equipment on the roof, no. The equipment would be, you can see it located here, which is in the existing structure itself, the vents.
It's feeding the existing, what's feeding the new cooler?
I can pull up the
There's gotta be a compressor on the roof.
Compressor somewhere.
Right, that's right, like, well, he said a kitchen equipment. So I didn't know what.
It's kitchen storage.
yeah, there may be the architect did not draw on a compressor, but I could get that detail information
Yeah,
for
that
you
will need
if
to
there would
on
be.
there.
Yep.
We'll need to understand what that is,
Okay.
Might require screening if it's up on top.
right?
I'm actually looking at this wondering, it looks like there might be a slight parapet there. Looking at the way that they've designed this addition. And I'm wondering if
You're right about the stepped parapets. that
Yeah, it's
go
kind of-
on.
Yeah.
It is
kind of
weird.
messy.
I'd really like to see the same sloped roof kind of mimic on the right
So
side.
just anchor it right there.
Yeah, that
Another
would
one,
be-
these guys bury the stuff inside, even if it's a float up.
Be
so
really
it's
nice.
Well, yeah.
Cause that would kind of anchor both sides of the building,
Would just be gap in the center.
which
Kind of cool.
Are you
so
able,
you're
selective.
go ahead,
you're saying to mimic this roof
Yes.
structure over here onto this side
Yep.
yeah,
with false windows and because I think those are actually windows into the dining area. So they'd have to be blacked out windows.
you could just,
Or you could articulate it with a
Brick.
different brick.
Yeah, you just need
different
brick
finish,
with
but
a panel.
it's really the.
Brick and I can talk to the architect about that. Absolutely.
You don't want to work session with this one, but then
yeah, I mean, let's get, yeah,
I'd rather get it done once and right.
so that would be the
Yeah,
next.
We're gonna recommend you to a work session. We'd like your architect involved in that.
Okay.
Third,
We'll get you,
so for the 23rd. I'll be on for the work session then. The other thing that we want to talk about and look at is the transformer.
Yes.
No, but they're on the B track,
Oh.
so they would not be here.
One of the demands, they can be back on their feet. Isn't that the idea? Yeah.
They do that like in 2 days. Can you be ready by the 9th?
Yes. Absolutely. The architect is very responsive on this. He'll probably attend remotely if that's okay because he's out of Georgia.
that's fine.
So nicer weather than here.
We just rather talk direct to them instead of through you, so we can get. they can use this.
Absolutely.
They do.
But I would, yeah, we can do that.
All right, so we'll set you for 8:15 on the 9th,
8:15 a.m. on the 9th.
okay? The other thing that we're gonna want to address is the transformer, like I was starting to say.
Okay. Yep.
Right now, I think you can recognize it's a pretty prominent corner. Yeah, there's a nice
Yes.
pond there and seating area and fairly well landscaped on that slope right there.
Yep.
Not really sure what the intent of putting the transformer out there in the middle of the pond essentially is. You know, on the
Yeah,
hillside,
Yeah, there isn't a lot of other available space on site. That's why. If we have to relocate the transformer,
There's an
I
existing
thought
transformer though,
there's right here.
no, to the left, yeah, right there, which. if you're gonna have a transformer there that's existing, you're not touching it, what if we put them together and screened it as an element,
Yeah,
and then
that's what-
spread out?
Yeah.
Maybe, is that what
That's an
we're-
excellent
okay.
idea.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
That's an excellent idea. We certainly can show that and try to sell National Grid on the location.
To the matter, it's gonna be where it is, where they're showing it there, it exists there, it's in the corner, but you have to develop that as a
Yeah.
full architectural solution,
Yeah.
not just a transformer.
And not a screen.
It could almost be a mini building that act like you're going to a gateway to get to the drive-through.
No, we can certainly do that.
Okay, yeah, give that consideration. Okay.
Yep, no, that's an excellent idea and we'll show that on the next revision.
Great.
Does the board want to make a recommendation on the variance? Is that something?
Yeah, I mean,
They've already submitted, they might.
Have you already submitted a variance request?
We submitted the site plan application, which is what we were instructed to do. And then I was under the understanding that this board would then push it to a variance in my discussions during the workshop meeting.
Well, you'll need a front yard setback variance,
Correct.
so
That's
it's a separate application to the ZBA.
okay.
You'll have to fill that out. Once you fill that out, we can discuss. I don't think there's an issue with the expansion on that one, so. Get that
Yeah, I
application
think-
filled out to the ZBA, we can make a recommendation at the next meeting,
Okay.
because their meeting is,
Well, then I don't think you can do the. It's too late for that.
oh, it's submission. Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I was told that we couldn't make that application until after we got through sketch.
So, but we wanted to have you, well, we can't make that recommendation, but we can.
Okay. So what I'll do,
The other
I'm
thing,
sorry.
Make the application.
we need to find what's going on with the signage, like what was actually approved, if there were variances.
Previously at the Jimmy John's.
Yes, and if there weren't any variances, then he has to get the variances.
Right.
If there were already variances that were on the plan, then we also need to check them for size and make sure that they're appropriate.
How does it work? The technical streets.
yeah, when I worked with the architect on the signage, we agreed to keep the signage the exact same size as what's there with the Jimmy John's if there is a variance in place.
So,
Well, if they're the same and they're the same size and it's basically the restaurant to restaurant, then it'll run through the land. Yeah, but that's why we need to see what's there. Make sure what's there.
yep. Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
And they just
Uh,
wanted the information, the next submittal date to make the next CPA meeting would be April 29th.
I'm sorry, I was having trouble hearing that.
For the ZBA, the next available
Yeah.
meeting appears to be, because you're not available to make the April 15th one, the next available meeting is May 20th. The submission deadline date for that meeting would be April 29th.
April 29th. Okay. We'll get that in well before that.
And we'll get the information on the signage
For that.
for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
All right, I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
The Wide Waters Schooling Group. Here. Wide Waters. Gave me two shots. Now what comments?
Me. Sealy from EDR. See myself.
I can do it for you.
I can.
No worries.
As before.
I have your samples right here as well.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
Mhm.
So, we're here tonight. One of the conditions of the Canalway Commons approval was to bring in the stone samples for the wall at the corner. So we have selected that material, so we're here tonight to present that. Pull up details just to refresh your memories on the wall. You have the language.
I'll try and find it.
You just do me a favor in the upper left. of the
Bill?
page, and then it's just
Thank
still
you, Jay.
sharing the screen.
I can-
So as you recall, this is the plan view of the wall at the corner, and then these were the elevations. And the stone that was proposed at the time of approval was limestone veneer. And we brought samples tonight, so this is the same stone that was approved for the Chick-fil-A building. That's same stone that was approved for the building, bottom of the Chick-fil-A building. You want to see the plan?
Yeah, there was, I think, when you were in, and we did the approvals, you had some, you know, renderings of the corner to show.
How it fit.
Yeah, how it fit and what it looked like.
I don't have those renderings. Show you this thing. So that's right here. So the intent was that we were asked to anchor the corner down with a feature. And then the limestone veneer is in keeping with the historic.
Zoom in on the corner.
I mean, we don't know how to do that.
It's the bottom right. plus-
Oh, here?
There you go.
So the limestone's in keeping with the historic canal walls that were in the area.
Oh, there we go. Sidewall up, entry gate. And
Yeah.
logo.
And the two
Those two
columns.
piers and
Yep.
two
And then the
logos going
windows.
down the sides.
Yep, exactly. And that ties into the building. At the base of the building is the material, if you recall that.
So what I was hoping to see with this wall was, you know, some dialogue with some of the historic materials. I think the limestone is the right choice, I think. But I was really hoping to see, in terms of the scale of the stone size, something that you might have seen historically with a lock or
Ancient Waylock stone.
much larger scale pieces, and even the capstone itself isn't really something that I would expect to see. So is the rendering that you were showing earlier, is that exactly, is it gonna look like this with this small scale? This is more like a rubble ashlar stone wall rather than something you would have seen historically to anchor that.
Yeah, it's hard to get big stone like that. In order to do that, it would have to be a dry laid wall.
Not a veneer.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So what we had presented was a veneer wall, same scale, same materials. So everything we're proposing now is what was approved.
And the stone's on all sides, right?
Correct.
So what's the largest size stone that you can get?
The large end of the range, I believe, is 6 by 22.
I almost feel instead of kind of a random ashlar, it wants to be maybe a running bond or a stack bond type pattern, which is more in line. And I'm not even sure that the heavy split face is, well,
You have to build it.
I just have to come to the condition.
Well,
It's long.
yeah, I mean, they're looking for a veneer stone on that. I think what we're trying to do is emulate the lock
Black
feeling.
wall.
Does it have to be built out of veneer? Can it be built out of
Just big chunks.
that,
solid stone?
that would be the right way to do it. Then you don't even need a capstone at that point.
No.
It would, yeah, you don't need,
Yeah,
you can find some rocks.
you can get them out of Paragon. You can get them out of Paragon.
This is what it says. Given the prominent position of the site wall at Erie Boulevard and Bridge Street at NYS Trailway, the board shall have the opportunity to review the stone type and size of coursing prior to installation with intent to be consistent with historic stone materials used in the Erie Canal history, where materials are available. Good memory, Doug.
So the pattern kind of follows that. Can you get that scale? I think the scale is
Yeah.
maybe what's missing.
Yeah. Yeah, if you replicated that at the right, whatever the sizes are, that'd be,
And then eliminate the precast concrete cap.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Now we're changing the design of what was approved, so I feel like we're taking a step backwards.
Well, we got the wall, but I think the conditions are what
The materials.
we're looking for. So the material, I mean, if you want to do a veneer, you can do a veneer, but the scale is what
Well, the biggest veneer you can get is about 11 inches.
11 inches tall.
Yeah, by 22.
Because I have to disagree. I think the condition that Jamie just read is what the design needs to be. That's why it was a condition.
So you can see some of the bigger pieces on it. So.
slice of stone.
To getting those large up here. I think that, you know, to Doug's point before. We had discussed it, that was the idea that it was supposed to. Replicate. A homage to. The area now, sign, so. Materials that are there. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Right. Yep. See this?
That's what Joe just did, actually. It's not the same. It's like important. That was my take. No, we just had, I've done a couple of these down in the street. Again, Joe just built this one. So that's a local sourced.
Yeah, I don't know that it's redesigning. It's just changing the material. Length is the same, the height is the same.
Joe built you the wall.
Jim right out skinny end.
Large stone. That's it.
No, it's good amount of skinny ends. Vital materials, it's in.
They took a bunch. Stone's clean.
Do you want to go research that?
Yeah, well, that's okay, but like I said, we came to present what was approved, so that's.
Yep.
Double scale. But now you cut stone, put it on its veneer, or you step.
To me, this is the most.
See the, you see
Yes,
the
no,
walls
I know that.
out on the thruway by Weedsport.
Right.
Yes,
The museum.
That's a museum?
yes,
That's.
that's exactly what.
Right.
I think that would be fantastic.
Good.
Sure.
Yeah. Quickly into. Welcome.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Kevin McAuliffe. I'm an attorney with Barclay Damon here in Syracuse, representing TTM. So I'd like to, I reviewed the various submittals that have come in response to the notice of your declaring yourself lead agency for the seeker process, including the responsive letter from DEC. And I think that the only remaining issue from the work study that was done on Tuesday with the work meeting was with regard to wetlands. And I think notwithstanding the comments of DEC in their letter submitted to you, you have before you an engineering study which defines the hydraulic specific aspects of the neighborhood, this property. And you could, at your convenience, and we would request it be as early as possible, make a determination on seeker and issue your neg deck. We understand that DEC is not yet ready to make its decision on whether or not there are any jurisdictional wetlands on this property. I think, as you know, there are none mapped, and the engineering study indicates that there are none on the property. So we'd request that you deliberate and issue a neg deck. And if you can't do it this evening, then at your earliest convenience. Because what we're trying to do is to have a neg deck from this town, assuming that the board would be so inclined, so that we can then seek a final inducement resolution from the Onondaga County IDA at its April 11th meeting, which unfortunately is at 8 in the morning, and your next official meeting is 7 p.m. on the same day. So, but for that timing issue, I'd be happy to let you wait until your April 11th meeting, but if we don't have it at that time, then we're bumped until the May meeting of OSIDA.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I'm neither an architect nor a geological expert nor a wetland specialist.
So what can you answer?
We need to have you act. That's why. So even with this podium, I can still plead and crawl across.
There you go.
I've done that before in the old building and in this one.
Okay.
Mark, what do you have to say? What's your?
Well, yeah, I mean, before you do that,
Yeah.
do you have updates or anything that you wanna talk about on this project, or?
I think the main issue that the board needs to consider is whether the wetlands are mitigatable. If they can be mitigated, if the wetland area increases on site, if the board is confident that they can still avoid or mitigate that.
Mark, you want to respond to that?
Well, no, I think she's put the, put
That's the question.
the issue right out there, yeah, and, you know, I don't think it's in relation to the site proper, which is the work inside of the ring road, that's not where the issue is. The issue becomes, can they really provide their stormwater mitigation facilities and not impact the wetlands? And so I think if they can show something to the board or to our, you know, submit to the board that shows that, then I think you're on good footing.
My question.
I'm sorry, Nate was whispering in my ear at that moment. Can you say that again? And for those of us who need to hear it twice anyway.
So again, the issue's not inside the ring road, it's outside the ring road, and whether they can do their stormwater mitigation facilities and not. I don't want to say not impact, because they can impact the wetlands, they will just need to provide the necessary mitigation. So if they can show something that reasonably suggests they can do that, then I think the board is in, you know, in a good position to make a secret determination.
I ask you a question I get this all the time, cops, so you can choose not to answer. If I was to come to you and hire you and say, you something, could you come up with a solution that would make that work?
It seems to me that it's doable.
Okay, that's what.
But
the other thing is they could go off-site, depending on if it was 2 to 1 or 1 to 1, right?
There's all sorts of options, yeah, right? And that's part of it.
There's,
And that's part of the reason.
options and solutions, wasn't just one to get through this.
I think the other thing is that this is not a site plan approval.
Yep.
Right, and there are federal and New York state regulations and laws that will have to be adhered to as you move forward. So I think, you know, if we have this discussion, we acknowledge that there's a potential issue that we think as a group could be mitigated. Then I defer to Jamie to say, you know, we flushed it out, we have findings, and it's not site plan approval, but we're comfortable with what we're seeing.
Yeah, so the secret determination, exactly, Doug, you know, so the secret determination again says, can you mitigate, you know, is it mitigatable? Again, in my mind, it is. It's like, again, it's not site plan approval. I wouldn't necessarily recommend site plan approval without having this issue further fleshed out. Right. You know, at the very least, we would want to have the jurisdictional determination made before we do site plan.
And I think we presented at the workshop on Tuesday, a plan that demonstrated even on site, without going off site, that, you know, technically, whatever their determination is, there's plenty of space to mitigate on site.
Yep.
So, but it doesn't necessarily represent kind of the worst case scenario, does it? And I think the question for us is, in that worst case scenario, can it still be mitigated? Yes. That's
what I'm getting to.
I think that's what it's concerned about, and there's been a lot of discussion since the workshop the last couple of days about this. Alana had 2 conversations with the DEC. So more than 2, more than 2 with the DEC. I mean, yeah, thank you, Alana, and I've had discussion with her. I know her was involved previously. So from a legal standpoint, seeker, did you take a hard look? Is it, you know, have you identified the potential issues? Is it in a reasonable determination? Now, a reasonableness standard, not like absolute, nothing, I think it's not absolute. That's.
Well, I think as Doug pointed out too, we're not looking for site plan.
Right.
We're not even
So-
just seeker. And if at such point in time, DEC comes back and it wants some modification, then we can amend your seeker determination at that time, it's done all the time. And then the site plan can be reactive to whatever happens.
So if there's no objection to this board, what I would like to do is call during our public work session on the 9th for 8 o'clock, is to call for a secret determination. That's no policy. A little bit of time is to put the materials again, get comfortable with it, make sure that we've done our due diligence. And then we can call for a secret determination. That's that, exactly that.
And Mark, is working on, it's a type 1 action, so it, you know, when we've done them, it's quite extensive and we have to answer all the questions. So this is just one of them. So, have that prepared in advance so that it can be looked at and commented on, obviously. So we want to make sure that we get it as right as we can. That's what's required.
Jane, can we close the public hearing?
We did not.
Which we will try to get here. And I think, I don't know if you got, it was correspondence from John, from Jim Stokes, saying that he was going to basically the problems and send a letter. I think that's something.
Yeah, let's, maybe the first thing, if we can have a motion to call for a public meeting.
Close it.
I'm talking about the meeting.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep, call for the public meeting, on April 9th at 8 AM and ask our staff to, post it in the town hall. Publish it on the website. And call the newspaper. You do not have to, you don't have to do a formal publication, but you need to say, hey, just want you to know, like they're gonna publish it, but they might. That this meeting is taking place and that will satisfy the requirements of notice of a special meeting. And if you need any language or help with that, you know.
So that's prior. Is it 7 days prior that you posted?
No, a special meeting, like we could literally have a special meeting like in 2 days. Plus, we're on a public meeting now, so the public is advised.
Right.
Of it, so that's a motion.
I will move for a special meeting on the 9th.
Second.
Second.
Person.
So that was the next thing is we need to have 4 people present.
Zoom work? For
No,
people or-
you have to be in person on the 9th. So I can try and rally the troops. I will certainly be here. Joe can be here.
See, maybe Kathy will come in, maybe Jenny, will, Kevin.
Kevin, are you available?
Yes, it's the day after the eclipse, but yeah, I'll be here.
No, this is the day.
Don't drive off the road.
That's it.
It only happens for
What
an
time,
hour.
what time of day is the eclipse? 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes. I got people driving in front of my place for 3 minutes. I'm like, going, no.
No, you said yes, once in a lifetime.
So we can have the 4 people here. We'll hold the special meeting.
Everyone else.
I'll
can
be
on
Here,
Zoom.
be here, so
I'll be
we'll
here.
have 4. So I move with seconded. All in favor? Good, we'll see you at 9 o'clock on the 9th.
Thank you.
Or, pardon me, 8 o'clock on the
8
9th.
o'clock.
Don't get to close the public hearing.
And then that will be the next one.
Okay.
I'll move to close the public hearing for this. Second, Joe will second, all in favor, all 4. Thank you.
Who seconded the last one?
Blake.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank you very much.
appreciate it, thank you. One last shout out to White Waters. Nope,
Close.
closed.
Yeah.
Motion